And now, Elvis Presley comes to Canada. The Singing Rage played 2 shows to a packed Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto tonight, and Bill Beattie was there for News Roundup. He's back now, but not the same.
In many years reporting the Canadian scene, I've never observed anything quite like this night. A traffic jam, 92 harried policemen, 300 building guards, 2 crowds of 14,000 screaming teenagers, and Elvis Presley rendering some of the music of our time. Once Elvis came on stage, all you could hear were the screams. The vast cavern of Maple Leaf Gardens darkened, except for the spotlight on Elvis. Elvis, the golden boy, standing there in his shimmering gold suit. Every time he wiggled, they screamed. And for a solid 40 minutes, Elvis wiggled, twitched, convulsed, and they screamed the louder. Every so often, the crowd of hypnotized youth sprang from their seats and started to move toward Elvis in his shimmering suit of gold. At such times, the police turned on the lights and got them back in their seats. It was possible to see that Elvis was singing. Most of the time, in a $3.50 seat, you couldn't hear a thing, but you could see his lips moving. There were the screams, the sighs, the pounding of feet. As sample, Elvis singing the finale, that favorite aria of rock and rollism, Hound Dog. And with Hound Dog, it was over. The crowd left, glassy-eyed. This their night to remember. Outside, there was another traffic jam. This is Bill Beattie in Toronto.
Assignment!
Assignment, a sound pictorial of the world today. That's Assignment with hosts Bill McNeil and Maria Barrett.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bill McNeil.
And I'm Maria Barrett.
And tonight, as usual, our correspondents are out
Across the nation.
around the world on assignment.
5 nights a week, CBC Dominion and its 39 affiliate stations from coast to coast brings you Assignment.
From Toronto, we get into the act with some views on Elvis Presley.
While from Ottawa, Mac Lipson gets Presley to speak for himself.
Then we get a new slant on a hockey star through the eyes of Mrs. Boom Boom Jeffreyon.
And our weekend gardener, John Bradshaw, sorts out a confusion of roses.
Well, that man came to town, and judging by the reports, he really went to town when he arrived.
And the man? Why, Elvis Presley, of course. And what trouble we had trying to get into his press conference.
Maria, how did you do on that?
Well, Bill, I found myself facing 3 enormous policemen. I couldn't get around them, I couldn't climb over them, so I didn't see Elvis.
You didn't. And how about you, Al? What's your story?
Well, it's very simple. For about 15 minutes, I was playing football with a 300-pound police sergeant, but I didn't get in.
You didn't get in. Well, I battled my way through about 300 screaming teenagers who knew he was in this room, and when I got through there, I came up with face-to-face, Al, with that same 300-pound policeman, and I didn't get in either. What did you think of the concert, Maria?
Well, Bill, I think the whole thing was a calculated psychological binge. I felt that the audience was baited and exhorted into semi-hysteria long before Presley ever appeared. The suspense of waiting for his appearance was carefully built. The program prior to his appearance was indifferent talent, loud rock and roll tunes followed by periods of semi-tranquility. And then these lull periods became progressively shorter until the great man appeared. By this time, the audience was open to any sort of suggestion. I don't approve of toying with the emotions of thousands of adolescent children, and I don't blame Elvis Presley for this.
Well, that's a pretty concise answer, Maria. I guess you'll get some letters on that from Presley fans. How about you, Al? What did you think of the concert?
Well, personally, I can't find strong enough words to show my disgust with the whole thing. Not with the teenagers or not with Presley, but with this psychological build-up that they give it. It's disgusting. I mean, it reminds you of dictators way back and how they got into power.
Well, I was completely mystified myself. I just didn't know why all this shrieking and hollering, but I guess, as you say, this psychological build-up right to the climax, that's what brought it all on. As far as hearing Elvis Presley, I never heard a word all night long. Not of one song, I couldn't make one out. But I enjoyed it, and I wouldn't have missed it for the world. Now, Gordon Sinclair, you've met Elvis Presley, haven't you?
Yes, I had about 90 minutes with him, Bill. This was in New York on the occasion of his first live appearance with Ed Sullivan.
You liked him, eh?
Oh, I did very much. I think the stories about him are largely wrong, or else he was deceiving me. He said he positively could not understand the screaming, yelling that you've just described in terms of the teenagers who come to see him. He said that he had often, not just once or twice, but often, come out of a show or a place where he'd be, even if it wasn't a show, to find kids, teenagers, scratching up his car, cutting the upholstery, doing all sorts of vicious things to the car, kicking it, ripping the top of a convertible, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't understand it, and I can't understand it, and he's just as mystified as I am and you are by the behavior of these kids that go to hear him and see him.
Thank you, Gordon Sinclair. Thank you, Alan Kreister, and, of course, to you, too, Maria.
Well, we've had our say, even though we didn't make it to Presley's press conference in Toronto. But fair is fair, so we asked Mac Lipson of CKOY to try and see Elvis in Ottawa and let him speak for himself. How did you make out, Mac?
I guess I was just lucky because I did manage to corral Elvis Presley in a back room of Ottawa's auditorium. I found someone that I didn't expect. I found a 22-year-old boy who doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, who was better looking than most of his pictures, and who handled himself in front of a battery of reporters without show, without ostentation, and with no attempt at being smart. He was a quiet sort of boy who gave straight answers. He just finished an interview with the newspaper boys when I moved in and asked him if big money in such a short space of time had changed him in any way.
No, it hasn't changed me. It's, like I said earlier, it's just that, you know, I can afford things I never would have gotten otherwise if I hadn't gotten lucky in life, you know.
Now, what are some of the big things you've done with your money? Some of the things you've always wanted to do, and suddenly you've got the money to do them with?
Well, I've got a nice home, which is, I guess it's a desire of everybody to have a nice home. And I got cars and everything I've always wanted. When I was small, I used to see cars, you know, real shiny cars and everything, and I said if I ever had any money, I was going to get my fill of cars. You know?
How many cars have you got now, Elvis?
8.
Are they all Cadillacs?
No, sir. 4 of them's Cadillacs. 1 of them is a Lincoln Continental, and I got 3 little sports cars.
Now, do you mind my asking how much money you grossed last year?
About $1,200,000.
Have you any plans for getting married? With all that sort of money, I imagine a lot of girls will be out on the chase.
Well, I have no plans for getting married, and besides, if the girl is on the chase for that, well, she's on a wild goose chase because, I mean, you know, I can usually sense whether or not that's what they're after or not, you know.
Yeah, now here in Ottawa, there's a situation which you've probably experienced elsewhere on your travels across the continent. The separate school board recently unanimously passed a motion in which they were going to encourage the parents and teachers to stay away from your show because they thought your singing was vulgar. No doubt you've run across these situations before, and what is your answer?
Well, yes, I've run across them before. I just wish the people would stop judging a tree by its bark, something they've heard or something they've read or something. They should come out to the show and judge it for themselves. And then if they still think it, well, just let them think it because that's all I can do, you know. I certainly don't mean to be vulgar or suggestive, and I don't think I am.
That's all part of your performance, your technique.
That's just my way of expressing songs. You have to put on a show for people. You can't stand there like a statue.
Well, Elvis, you've watched people you've watched teenagers when they've been pretty excited. You've seen a lot of them when they've been very excited. What's your opinion of teenagers in North America? Have they lost a lot of their morals, or are they just the same as they've been lots of other times?
No, they haven't. They're growing up, you know, and they're having a nice time, and nobody's going to stop that. I mean, the only way they're going to stop that is for the United States to turn communist, and I don't think that'll ever happen. But you're not going to stop a group of kids and young people and everything from having a nice time because they only grow up once, and they're going to have a ball while they're growing up. I mean, and I know I don't blame them, and I don't see why anybody else should.
A lot of your publicity, Elvis, is, I wouldn't say a lot of it, but some of it has been adverse. You know, I mean, people in education are saying it's no good and it's vulgar and it's no good for the children, and they go crazy. Have you had any nice things said about you from adult groups in the States or in Canada?
Yes, sir, I've had quite a bit, but not as much as I have the bad stuff, though, I gotta admit.
Your feeling is that your show is entertainment and you go on to give them a show.
That's true. Well, there are people that like you, there are people that don't like you, regardless of what field you're in, regardless of what you do. There are going to be people that don't like you. I mean, even if you're perfect.